It may not get much warmer than 72 degrees. There is a slight breeze. It is very humid, though, 75% and rising. Rich, ever bother you as a player when the humidity was high?
Oh, I have some nightmarish stories, Kevin, of coming down here to Jacksonville, but usually it was in September. I think this feels comfortable. I don't think the weather's going to be too much of an issue. These are well-conditioned athletes, especially you look at the Houston Texans. They're coming off the bye. They should have some fresh legs. I don't think it's going to be a big issue for both of these teams who are used to practicing in the heat and humidity.
I'd like to remind you today's game is being broadcast in Spanish. We're available using the SAP button on your television. The Texans won the toss. They have elected to take the second half kickoff. Bill O'Brien made that decision, so the Jacksonville Jaguars will receive to begin things. We just touched on the new offensive coordinator for Jacksonville, Nathaniel Hackett. He's been an offensive coordinator before. They fired Greg Olson and they elevated Nate Hackett from the quarterback coach position.
Yeah, and he's coaching everyone in the room. Kevin, we visited with him on Friday. He believes there should be just one voice. He's installing everything, the running game, the protections, the passing game, just like his father did. Paul Hackett was a terrific offensive coordinator and play caller. Of course, I had the good fortune of spending 4 years with him in Kansas City. I think there's striking similarities. You look at how Nathaniel sees and calls a game. I don't think the apple falls far from the tree. I think you're going to see a very physical, up-tempo approach from this Jacksonville offense.
You see Lee D-back. He'll be in a single position back there to retrieve the kickoff. And they've got Novak, who has been around the NFL with a ton of different teams and has had a pretty good season so far, 18-21. That's been part of the problem for the Texans, relying too much on the field goals and not getting enough in the red zone. And here we go. It's the Texans and the Jaguars. We are underway. Lee will leave it in the end zone. And it will be a touchback, and they'll take it to the 25-yard line as we take a look now at quarterback Blake Bortles. And along with Brock Osweiler, we mentioned this earlier, Rich, they have among the lowest quarterback ratings in the NFL.
Well, look, my advice to Blake Bortles, Kevin, simple. Relax, cut it loose, go have some fun. There's been so much talk about the footwork and the mechanics and the arm and working with specialists to straighten those things out. He's a talented player. He just needs to go out and have some fun and enjoy this opportunity.
Easy, easy. Hey, alert, alert! Alert, alert, alert! 85. Green 80! Hey, Mike's 55. Mike's 55. Sunday! Shut!
With the first play of the game, 1st and 10, this is Yeldon. And a nice tackle made behind the line right there by McKinney. There is no gain on the play. He leads him in tackles. They stay at the 25. The center is Brandon Linder, the highest rated offensive lineman for Jacksonville. Parnell, the right tackle. He had a tough game last week against Kansas City. And the running back is Chris Ivory. We talked about him in the open. 107 yards on the ground, a free agent who found the Jaguars to his liking. He is not starting today. Yeldon is, but we'll see a lot of Ivory. It is 2nd down and 11. Little hesitation right there, and he finds his tight end, Koyak, with only his 6th reception of the season. He picks up 6. He's brought down by McKinney. They'll put him at the 30-yard line. We told you about Vince Wilfork being out. Taking his place will be the rookie DJ Reader. He will start for his 2nd consecutive week. No J.J. Watt out for the year. We talked about that. Merciless has been terrific, as has McKinney. They blitz a lot on this defense. Boye out in the secondary, but Joseph and Jackson have been a long-time starting tandem at the cornerback position for defensive coordinator Romeo Crennel. It is 3rd down and 5, and they look into the nickel. Eaton got the block. They come in on the right side, and now Bortles, who needs the 35. He'll throw it, and it is caught on the play by Robinson. A pickup of 7 on 3rd and 5. He makes the move. Joseph was there. It's a 1st down to the 37.
And this is what you can't allow happen. Blake Bortles to get outside the pocket. Houston talked at great length last night about keeping Blake Bortles in the pocket. I think he's most dangerous when he's on the move. He throws the ball very well, moving to his right and to his left.
He was over 4,000 yards passing a season ago, 35 touchdowns. Yeldon in the backfield, the fake right there. This was Mercedes Lewis on 1st and 10, reading it well, making the tackle. Quentin Dempps, he's got a bad calf, but he makes the stop. It's only a gain of a yard on the play. And here's the scouting report when the Jaguars have the ball today.
Yeah, the resurgence of the rushing attack, 205 yards last week against the Chiefs. That's a strength. The weakness right now, the confidence of the quarterback, it's an issue right now, in my opinion. Houston defensively, the ability to affect the quarterback, especially with their 4-man rush. And finally, if there's a weakness, a leaky run game. Run defense, they're just 28th in run defense, giving up over 125 yards a game on the ground.
Here's a handoff to Yeldon on 2nd down and 10. Takes it in the middle. You see the pile right there. Cushing at the forefront. It is a gain of 4, and he takes it up to the Jacksonville 40-yard line.
And I think you're going to see a real commitment from this Jacksonville offense, Kevin, to run the football. They've got 2 talented backs. Chris Ivory went over 100 last week against a pretty good Kansas City defense. TJ Yeldon is another guy that can run between the tackles, but has maybe a little bit more speed to bounce runs to the edge. I think they've got to get Yeldon involved in the passing game a little bit more, especially the screen game where he is such a talented player.
6 in the secondary, 3rd and 6. Reach in the block at the left tackle. That's it. It is picked off on the play. Grabbed by Jackson. He will take it with the quarterback, Bortles, giving up on the tackle attempt, and Jackson takes it in. It is his 13th career interception. His first of the season. And the defense comes up with a big play.
Well, they want to make every throw a contested throw. You see Bortles not at all happy. It's not how you want to start a game. I can't say he was late with the throw. Usually when you look at interceptions, outbreaking routes up top, you think maybe he's late with the throw, but when you watch him, he takes one hitch here, the ball comes out on time, but they just sit on this out route the entire way. I mean, that's just too easy for a cornerback like Kareem Jackson, who's playing with his eyes in the backfield studying Blake Bortles.
Remember, against Jacksonville last year, he had a pick 6 last year. Took it 27 yards in Houston against the Jaguars, and you can see it, his 9th career pick 6. Not a good way to start. So Kareem Jackson, who with that interception moves into a first-place tie, all-time Texan interceptions with Dante Robinson. They are going to review it as they do every play. He may have stepped on the chalk on the way down the sideline. He bobbled it, he reeled it in, he's not on the chalk, he'll take it to pay dirt. It'll count.
After the review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The defender did not step out of bounds after recovering the interception. It's a touchdown.
Yeah, I would have to get some oxygen too. Jackson, like we said, in the final game of last year in Houston against this Houston team, a pick 6, returned 27 yards by Kareem Jackson last year. And in the first meeting this year, as he stays in bounds, plenty of green between that right foot and the chalk. He takes it in from officially now 42 with the extra point up and through by Novak. And that makes it a 7-0 lead for Houston.
Well, you have to have a short memory when you play the quarterback position. You talk about getting off to a good start. Obviously, that hasn't happened so far for Blake Bortles. But as I said, Kevin, when we first came on, you have to go out there and just try and have some fun, enjoy the moment, play with some confidence. Blake Bortles, this is the same guy that threw 35 touchdowns a season ago. The talent's there.
Well, when you threw this, when you went through this kind of thing, as all quarterbacks do, you must just feel horrible on that side.
Are you suggesting that I've thrown an interception on the first series of the game?
I'm not suggesting. I'm actually saying you did.
Well, listen, it happens, and you say, well, you got to find, why did it happen? Are we late with the throw? Are we telegraphing things? What's going on here? Get it fixed. Move on. Look, this is an important game for Jacksonville. They have to realize what's at stake. I mean, there has to be a sense of urgency. It's a good opportunity. You have Houston, the leading the division. They're coming in. This is a chance for Jacksonville, believe it or not, to go 2-1 in the division and get right back into this race.
Not the least of which, Rich, is the giveaway takeaway for both these teams. Really bad. In fact, Houston is number 29, and they come in with very few interceptions this year. That is only their 4th of the season. But boy, did it come in handy right off the bat. With the return, the pick 6 by Jackson, 42 yards, and that will be left in the end zone for a second time by Lee.
When you look at these slow starts, and it's an issue with this team. There's the worst points differential in the first half. The second place isn't even close. You look at Miami, and they have no opening drive touchdown since week 2 of last year. That's the longest stretch of 22 games in the NFL. And it affects everything you do, Kevin. Your ability to stay patient with the running game. If you're behind all the time, it affects your ability to rush the passer and take the ball away defensively. It's a trickle-down effect.
Here's Ivory on 1st and 10. He's trying to pick and poke his way, and he runs into Cushing and makes his second tackle. It's a gain of a yard. He's up to the 26-yard line of Jacksonville.
This is a really good defense. Romeo Crennel is always Done a nice job, I think, with his communication. I think this is a defense that understands the scheme. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They play fast. They fly to the football. The thing that I like is they tackle well as a unit.
2nd and 9. Look at that base defense. He goes underneath to Ivory, who is hit by McKinney. Ivory with the catch, and only his 8th of the season. Again, just reiterating, that was the 4th interception by the Texans this year. It was tied for last in the NFL with Indianapolis and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And Kevin, you talk about not having your key players. Without J.J. Watt, the takeaways, the sacks, the negative plays are way down for this Houston defense. You're just not seeing as many disruptive plays from this Houston defense.
Well, that's the word used, isn't it? Disruptive is what he did.
That's what he's all about.
With a 3rd down and 1, Bortles on the move where they say he plays his best. That was a good tackle made out of the secondary and hit right there by Jonathan Joseph on a gain of 2 on the play as Ivory takes it up to the 36.
I think you have to feature some of these throws with Blake Bortles. Kevin, he's comfortable throwing the ball on the move. Probably more comfortable throwing the ball outside the pocket right now than he is inside the pocket. And the issues inside the pocket are not the arm or the arm strength. It's the feet. He's got to get his footwork straightened out. That is the biggest issue as I study the case right now.
1st and 10, end around. This goes to Marquise Lee. And he's shoved out of bounds there by Jackson with the end around. He takes it up to the 42 and picks up 6. Well, let me ask, is that normal for a quarterback, Rich? I mean, to throw better, have a better feel for the play and the pass as he's on the move?
Not really, but Kevin, here's the thing. They've had so many different changes around Blake Bortles, and I think it's a disservice to the quarterback. Jed Fish, Greg Olsen, Nathaniel Hackett. And it's, when you're a young quarterback, you develop bad habits early. They're usually difficult to break.
It's a 2nd down and 4 for Bortles. Here they come up the middle. He's hit by Cushing. Got the pass away. It was caught with a gain of 5 on the play by Robinson. He is tackled by Demps. He works his way near the 47-yard line.
This is a really nice job by Blake Bortles, sitting in there and finding a completion. You can see Cushing comes up. He doesn't flinch. He's able to keep his eyes down the field and make a good, accurate throw across the middle to Allen Robinson.
380. 380.
With the 1st and 10. And going deep. And there's coverage there. And it was bobbled and almost reeled in, but he's out of bounds, it appeared. And that was Alan Hearns, who's coming off a concussion protocol with the coverage downfield by Jonathan Joseph.
Hearns has been extremely productive going back to his rookie year. This was a scary throw. Initially, you thought Jonathan Joseph had himself one. That's a really terrific effort there by Hearns, ripping the ball out of the hands of Kareem Jackson. Good effort there by the young receiver.
Which is a great story in the secondary for the Texans today. It's Charles James in the game, wearing number 31. He's from Jacksonville and playing that other corner here this afternoon with a 2nd down and 10 for Bortles. And this is Ivory. He gets a block from Lewis. It looked like Andre Hal was down there along with Demps to make the stop. After a gain of 5, and they get into Houston territory at the 49.
I really like Chris Ivory. I just think he's a physical runner. You better bring your big boy pads when you go in to tackle him, because he can embarrass you. He'll knock you backwards as a defender, and you have a really nice 1-2 punch with him and Yeldon.
He gained 1,000 yards a year ago. He did with the Jets. Ivory.
Averaged almost 6 yards a carry last week against a pretty good Kansas City defense.
Here's a 3rd and 5 right now. Multiple in the secondary, and the throw is caught by Lee, and he is quickly hit there by Joseph, and that is a 1st down. So coming back from the pick 6, he's moved his team downfield to the 41-yard line. That's a pickup of 8 on the play and a 1st down for Jacksonville.
And I think Bortles is going to see a lot of press man-to-man coverage from this Houston secondary. They're going to force him to make a lot of contested throws. They don't want to give a lot of free access throws. And what I mean by that is, playing off coverage, allowing him to throw those quick hitches and slants. I think you're going to see more press than off, although right now they're making me look silly, but I think you'll see more press coverage from this Houston defense.
Here's a 1st and 10. This is Ivory, and he walks the tightrope on the sideline. He has a 1st down. Takes it to the 26-yard line of the Houston Texans. A 13-yard pickup. McKinney makes the stop. It's a 1st down run by Ivory.
When you go to tackle back like Chris Ivory, you can't throw your shoulder in there or arm tackle. You got to bring everything to get this big guy on the ground. If you try and tackle him up high, you're just wasting your time. He runs through a lot of tackles.
The quarterbacks now for Houston, Charles James and Robert Nelson. 10th play of the drive. And a timeout taken by the defense of the Texans.
First charge.
And we will step aside. A pick six by Jackson of Houston. 7-zip. 7:21 first.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Head and Shoulders. Shoulders were made for greatness, not dandruff. And by USAA, official military appreciation sponsor of the NFL.
The Duval County War Memorial as we salute service, honoring our terrific military. Timeout, Houston. It's a 1st and 10.
Green 80. Green is right.
Yeldon is in. He offers the block on Cushing. They come up the middle. They go outside. What a catch is made by Koyak, his 2nd of the game. Brought down on the play by Dents. He picks up 16 on the play. Put him at the Texan 11, 1st and 10.
Here's another good throw with pressure in his face. And this is what you love about Blake Bortles, the ability to come back after some adversity early. You see the pressure up inside, the push, and he continues to slide to his left and find his open tight end down the field. Excellent job by Bortles in the pocket.
Well, he's converted a couple 3rd downs on the drive. Ivory had a 13-yard run, 15-yard pass right there, 1st and 10. To the backfield, this is Yeldon. The beat on him is McKinney. He's inside the 10, close to the 8. He picks up Rich on that play 3. It's amazing how Bortles has come back from the pick 6 and really kind of regained himself on this drive.
And this is where this offense has had their struggles in this part of the field. You have to be able to finish drives in this part of the field. I always say, Kevin, good red zone teams have the ability to run the ball down in this part of the field.
There's Nate Hackett.
Green 80. Green is right.
With a 2nd down and 7, Ivory in the backfield, and he goes outside. This is the tight end, Mercedes Lewis. Hal has him, and then he's pushed out of bounds there by John Simon. 2nd leading tackle around this defense. It is a gain of 3, Rich, down to the Jacksonville 5.
I love the way this team tackles. Not a lot of yards after contact. Mercedes Lewis, Kevin. I always say, if you want to look at what an NFL tight end looks like, look at Mercedes Lewis. He's 6'6", 6'7". He's 280 pounds, and he can run.
And he can block.
Really, that's what he does probably best. He's, at this point in his career, he's really a good inline player. Opens up a lot of holes in the running game.
Nickel secondary, 3rd and 4.
Green 80. Green is right.
Moving up nicely. Touchdown. It's caught by Julius Thomas, the tight end, a 5-yard strike. He was working on the safety, Demps.
This is really good here. Watch Blake Bortles at the top of the drop. First of all, look at the pocket. Look at his nice, clean pocket, and then look at him step up in the pocket. Buy himself some extra time, and this is real progress for a quarterback, Kevin. It's a hopper, a guy that bounces and bounces in place rather than hitching up in the pocket. This is something that they've been working on a lot in the last 2 weeks with Nathaniel Hackett. A guy that can hitch up into the pocket and not bounce around in the back of the pocket.
This will tie it as Jason Myers puts it through. We're tied at 7, 5:14 to play in the first, converting 3rd and 1, 3rd and 6, and 3rd and 4. It's a 5-yard touchdown pass to tie the game to Thomas. In honor of Veterans Day, for every point scored during the NFL's Salute to Service games, there are 32 of them, the league will donate $1,000 to its military nonprofit partners, including the Pat Tillman Foundation, USO, and Wounded Warrior Project. To join the salute and learn more, visit NFL.com/salute. Jaguars receivers coach Jerry Sullivan, one of the longtime names in the NFL. Private second class U.S. Air Corps. See that in just a second. Here's the kickoff by Jacksonville. With a 5-yard touchdown pass, Urban, the running back, will leave it in the end zone. And it will be a 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. Here's the receivers coach Jerry Sullivan, private second class U.S. Air Corps. Assistant special teams coach Matt Smiley, U.S. Air Force maintenance officer. In fact, today's back judge is an Army veteran, Greg Yett. I'll show you him in just a second. 1st and 10. There's Greg. Thank him and all of them for their service. 1st and 10. With a handoff right here. Lamar Miller jumping on his back. Ngakwe, and it is a gain of 3 on the play, and he takes it out to the 28-yard line with a look at Brock Osweiler coming off his second-best game throwing of the season a couple weeks ago against Detroit.
Yeah, and when the protection has been good and he's in rhythm, he can be extremely accurate and effective from the pocket. Not going to make a ton of plays when things break down around him, but got a big-time arm. Probably most accurate on the short and medium throws right now. Struggle pushing the ball down the field a little bit to DeAndre Hopkins.
It's a 2nd and 7. They come off the edge. He gets it outside. Caught by the tight end, Ryan Griffin. Hit by Cyprien, now holding onto his leg. That is not very good. Cyprien is down. It's a gain of 6. He's up to the 33. And one of the terrific defensive backs who's got a lower leg injury today, Jonathan Cyprien, is down. He's been a starter at the strong safety all season long. A lower leg injury coming into today. Right now, Pro Football Focus has him rated as one of the top 10 safeties in the league.
It's hard to tell.
It is.
Kevin, you don't know if it's a...
Watch that left leg, Rich.
No, you just watch his right hand. He's going to reach back around right there at the end, and I don't know if he's grabbing the knee or the hamstring. You can't tell, but it's good to see him up and running. And it's a guy that can't afford to miss on the back end. He's a great communicator, really a terrific box player. He's a guy that wants to be down around the line of scrimmage where the action is.
Aaron Colvin will take his place, number 22. 3rd down and 2 here for the Texans. We've had a pick 6 by the Texan defense and a 5-yard touchdown pass by Bortles to his tight end, tied at 7. And the former Dolphin running back Lamar Thomas looks like he's submarine for 3. He's got the 1st down. Gets out to the 36-yard line, working on that right side. And on 3rd and 2, picks up the 1st down for the Texans.
I really like Lamar Miller, Kevin. He's a guy that has that burst, and he can hop, cut in the hole. We've already seen it a couple times today. Get up on the 2nd level quickly. Jacksonville has talked this week about forcing him to run between the tackles. They don't want him to get on the perimeter of their defense.
Miller with the fake right there. Odrick will rush, and that is thrown away. Pressure coming up from Jared Odrick. Talk about the line. Center Greg Mance has been playing well. Osweiler's had a lot of pressure, but just 16 sacks. He used a lot of 6-man line. Talked about DeAndre Hopkins. His numbers are down, but he's still very, very good. Fedorowicz is their tight end. Look for a big game from him today. A top 10 tight end coming in. I know I called him Lamar Thomas. Lamar Miller, obviously, averaging 4.2. Number 7 leading rusher in the NFL is Miller of the Texans coming into today, 2nd and 10. Miller again. They get him on that line. Not a whole lot of room to roam there. Malik Jackson makes the stop. And yes, here we talk about Malik Jackson. He was a free agent signee from Denver, and he is a good one. And they like him on that defensive line. He's solidified it more. Puz Lesney is coming off his best game of the season. In fact, he graded the highest of any linebacker in the NFL last week in Kansas City. We mentioned Jonathan Cyprien. He was just injured a minute ago. Colvin still taking his place. One of the best safeties in pro football. We'll see if he comes back. 3rd and 9. Osweiler, that is caught. And it's grabbed by C.J. Fedorowicz. It is a gain of 13 on 3rd and 9. He's got the 1st down. He was hit by Puz Lesney. He works it out to midfield and a 1st down for the Texans.
You know, the one thing you really see is them utilizing the tight ends a whole lot more in this offense. Last year they were a non-factor. Fedorowicz has really played maybe some of his best football the last couple of weeks. And in talking last night with Brock Osweiler, you get the sense he has a huge sense of comfort throwing the ball inside to the tight ends.
Miller is in, 1st and 10, fake end around. And Lamar takes it down to about the 46, and he picks up 4 on the play. Hit by a couple, including Larceny. And your scouting report when the Texans, with the number 30 offense in the NFL, have the ball.
Yeah, and you study this offense. This is a team that's committed to running the football. It's always been that way with Bill O'Brien. The weakness right now, probably the quarterback play, especially on the road where Osweiler has been up and down. Defensively, Jacksonville talent at the linebacker position. The weakness right now, their inability to take the ball away on defense continues to be a struggle for Jacksonville.
Recipient in, here comes Miller on 2nd and 6. There he goes, off to the races, a foot race. Jack is chasing and brings him down. Did he get in? Inside the 1. Breaking a tackle of Ngakoue. A 45-yard run by Lamar Miller. Terrific play.
Yeah, you see the lead by the fullback, and Miller's just going to run right through a tackle. I mean, you cannot miss a back in the hole like that. Ngakoue had him and didn't get him on the ground.
That's the longest run by the Texans this year. This is a pretty good run attack, certainly. Number 11 in the NFL. 45-yard run by Lamar Miller.
You preach to your defense all the time about not giving up the explosive plays. Look at that first 25-yard run.
Alfred Blue is in. He was getting a block from Trosh. There is no gain on the play. They stack him up and they bring him down. Alu among a couple in there to make the stop, along with Dan Scooter, the linebacker. Nice 1-2 punch with Miller and Blue for the Texans.
Alfred Blue's another one, Kevin, who's got kind of a hard hit. He can go up in there and get you the tough yards inside of this part of the field. Physical downhill runner.
Lamb, an extra lineman. 2nd and goal at the 1, the fake, the feed, and the touchdown. It is caught by tight end Ryan Griffin. 1-yard touchdown pass, and the Texans back on top. And a big 45-yard run by Lamar Miller sets it all up for Houston on their first offensive possession.
You're going to see he's going to start over in motion, and then he's going to work all the way back underneath the play fake. You see the motion away, you see the action away, and then he's able to sneak back underneath, and the defender's not able to follow the tight end, Ryan Griffin, back across the formation.
Ryan Griffin gets his first touchdown reception of the season. Osweiler throws his 10th touchdown pass of the year. Nick Novak to try to give him a 14-7 lead, and does with 19 seconds to play in the first quarter. Miller had the 45-yard run. Fedorowicz caught one for 13. And then Osweiler to Griffin on a 1-yard toss. The Texans back on top.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly. And by Cricket Wireless. Something to smile about.
Beautiful St. John's River running right through Jacksonville. Well, the tight ends were big on that drive, as was the running back Lamar Miller. He gallops for 45. 3 completions by Osweiler, all the tight ends, including the 1-yard touchdown pass to Griffin. And here's the ensuing kickoff, and Marquise Lee will bring it out. And a nice tackle is made by Don Jones. 16-yard return. Jaguars are down by 7. They've lost 3 in a row. They're at home today on CBS. Rich, we've had both offenses moving pretty well here to begin the game.
Yeah, and Bortles, Kevin, rebounded very nicely after that interception on the first drive of the game.
It's Yeldon in, 1st and 10. With a run up the middle there, hit by a couple, including Clowney and Covington. It is a gain of 7. That could be the last play of the quarter. He takes it up to the 27-yard line. Couple short touchdown passes by each quarterback. The difference, a pick 6 by Jackson. 14-0 Houston. 14-7 Houston. Tomorrow, want to know the secret to happiness? Watch TV's #1 comedy as Kevin becomes a life coach. An all-new Kevin Can Wait. It's tomorrow at 8, 7 Central, only CBS. First play of the second quarter. Yeldon gets it on 2nd down and 3. You slow down on the play by Charles James. It is a gain of 5. Looks like he slithered for a first down. Rich up to the 32-yard line of Jacksonville.
Now you look at the time possession, obviously, because of the interception. Houston didn't really get on the field until late in the first quarter. But the turnover, that's the big story so far in this game. And Kevin, you got to give Blake Bortles some credit in terms of how he was able to quickly turn the page and come back late in the first quarter.
With the 1st and 10 handoff, Yeldon. Running outside, he got by Dunn. He's finally harnessed after a gain of 5 by McKinney. He takes it out to the 36-yard line of Jacksonville.
And I thought a real positive last week for the Jacksonville Jaguars was how they were able to go on the road to Kansas City and run the football against a pretty good defense. You know, you look at the first 8 games of the season, Jacksonville was averaging less than 4 yards a rush, just 72 yards a game on the ground. Last week they exploded for 205 yards. They had 8 runs of 10 yards or more, and that more than anything can really help Blake Bortles.
Hey, solid 5-6, solid. Green 80. Green is it.
Marquise Lee is back in after they taped up his ankle. Here's a 2nd and long for. There's Thomas, who brought the short touchdown pass before. McKinney is on him. They lose a yard, and they're back to about the 36.
They're a good tackling defense. Kevin, I saw a stat. The highest percentage of plays ended by the first tackler. They're the best in football. 95.4% of the time, when they hit you, you go down.
That's pretty high.
That's high.
Yeah.
You don't miss a lot of tackles. And, you know, you can talk about it. You know, you say, well, how do you practice tackling now? We don't put the pads on. But Romeo Crennel does a great job teaching the basic fundamentals. And it starts with tackling, good tackling on defense.
With Ivory in, 3rd down and 5 for Blake Bortles. Now with the block, and that's a nice catch by Lee across the middle. Whacked on the play by Hal. Picks up 18 on the play. Send him to the 45 of Houston. That is a 1st down.
I love to see the smile. Look at this throw, though, by Bortles. He sits in there. His feet are good. This is not an easy throw. He's got to throw it over the linebacker and in between the corner and the safety. That's great anticipation, timing, rhythm, and accuracy by Blake Bortles.
And confidence building, too.
Green is it.
Ivory in, 1st and 10. Here comes Ivory. There's a flag thrown. He was upended by Nelson and a couple others on the play as the quarterback Bortles has found some rhythm, and off of what Rich just said, he's at 7 consecutive passes. Ron Torbert.
Holding. Offense. Number 78. 10-yard penalty. Replay 1st down.
That's the former Cowboy Jeremy Purnell at that right tackle position.
The tackles have to play well in this one. Both the tackles for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kevin, Houston's got some really good ends. They play a lot of 5-man front football where they really force a lot of one-on-ones, so you're not really going to be able to help as much. You see all these linemen up around the line of scrimmage. They want to draw singles with their pass rush.
It's crowded once again. 1st and 20. Yeldon the block. Outside they go, and it's caught there by Robinson. He's hit by Jackson. They pick up 11 on the play, and they go down to the 43-yard line of Houston. Be the first to know your team's news with the CBS Sports app. Get instant updates, expert analysis, highlights, and more. Download CBS Sports app today. Bortles 14 of 16, Rich. Good start for him. He has thrown a pick 6, though. 2nd down 9. Ooh, watch out for that.
That may have been a fumble.
That may have been right off of someone's foot and picked up by Merciless. On the ricochet, it was an interception or a fumble recovery, depending how they rule it.
I think it hit the foot of the back.
It bounced off the receiver's foot. It was intercepted by Houston. It's 1st down.
Interception, Whitney Merciless.
This is just unfortunate for Bortles. I think he's trying to throw the ball on the ground. See, they have the screen pass. He knows that Quentin Demps is right there. He tries to throw it on the ground. Instead, it gets picked.
Well, on the ricochet off a foot of his running back, it is an interception, the 2nd off Bortles today. Blue is in, 1st and 10. The blitz from the edge, and a good catch by Hopkins. It was right in front of Ramsey. That was a beautiful grab. He's down to the 42. He picks up 8 on that low throw. 2nd and 2 coming up.
This is unfortunate. Blake Bortles is trying to do the right thing. He's trying to throw this one into the ground at the feet of T.J. Yeldon, and unfortunately hits him right, and his right foot pops up right in the air, right into the hands of Whitney Merciless. I mean, that's just a bad break.
Trio! 151! 180!
With a second down and 2, it's a handoff to Blue. Tries with the block. He's also getting some help up front from Mance. And a tackle by Posluszny down to the 38. Pickup of 5. Let's go to James in New York.
A prolific first quarter.
Yeah, how about this? Marcus Mariota is going to find Anthony Fasano 9 yards out. The third touchdown already. 21-0 over Green Bay.
Not a mistake. Back to Kevin and Rich.
Fasano is mainly a blocking tight end, but he catches one wide open right there. What a day for Mariota. He lost a tough one last week in San Diego. Tennessee did. 1st and 10. Fake to Blue, time for Osweiler, and that's incomplete. Across the middle for Braxton Miller, the rookie out of Ohio State, with an incomplete pass.
Brock Osweiler, this is like a fastball. This is a hard. I saw it come out of his hands. I was surprised. Watch how quickly. First of all, Miller can't see it initially. Now watch. This is a fastball. He's just trying to get out of the way. So I had a quarterback coach said to me one time, the closer they are, for some reason, the harder you throw. You have to be able to take some pace off the throws, especially on those crossing routes.
Blue is in, 2nd down and 10. And a good stop on that line by Malik Jackson, among others. It's a throwback of 2, losing 2 on the play. Back to the 39-yard line in Jacksonville after the interception by Merciless.
Just look at this quickness right up inside, and he is going to. They try and pull, and it's tough for the left tackle, Dwayne Brown. He's blocking down, but Malik Jackson just too quick with his penetration into the back.
Third and 13. Timeout. Boy, there are a lot of guys, Rich, on that front line for Jacksonville, and only a couple deep. With a timeout for Brock Osweiler. We've got 9:53 in the first half.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Acura. Precision crafted performance. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Fantastic Beasts, in theaters November 18th.
The NFL salute to service here in Jacksonville and all over the NFL today. Well, Rich, here's a 3rd and 13 coming up for the Texans. They struggle on 3rd down.
They have. You got to be smart in this situation. If you're Brock Osweiler, if it's there, pull the trigger. If not, pick up half of it. Give your kicker a chance to put some points on the board.
They need the 26.
He's got to beat man-to-man coverage.
Into the nickel. And going for, there's a penalty flag on Ramsey. Boy, he's matched up against the Pro Bowler DeAndre Hopkins. He's got his hands full this afternoon. Ramsey, a #1 pick out of Florida State.
He was looking forward to this challenge all week. That's going to be a lot of work. DeAndre Hopkins, so good. You have to defend the deep ball. You have to also defend the back shoulder throw. And, of course, he's a terrific leaper. He can go high point the ball at any time.
2 flags.
There were fouls by both teams during the play. Illegal hands to the face. Offense, number 74.
Clark.
Pass interference. Defense, number 20.
Ramsey.
Those penalties will offset. We'll replay 3rd down.
Well, Ramsey loves to use his hands, but at some point you have to let go, and he's a little late to do that. And then you look at the right tackle, the hands to the face. It's pretty clear when you knock the helmet off of Dan Skuta.
Out of the backfield, Akeem Hunt just signed. Bottom of your screen. With a 3rd and 13, Osweiler down the middle, Fedorowicz. He gets as far as the 32. He's hit by a ton on the play, including Cyprian and Posluszny. They get 7 on 3rd and 13, but they do get into field goal range. Rich, as they'll have the ball at the 31.
You see Bill O'Brien there. Take a deep breath. It's a good play by Osweiler. We talked about picking up half of it and giving your kicker a chance to avoid the negative plays. That's what's really hurt both of these offenses. Kevin, the penalties, the missed assignments, and most importantly, the turnovers.
Novak is going to try a 49-yard field goal. He's made 9 consecutive field goals. The hold by Leclerc. Wind at his back. And no. missing from 49. Novak. And they come up empty and can't cash in on the merciless interception. Wide left. Jacksonville takes over. We are in the second quarter. Jacksonville Jaguars hosted the Stars and Stripes bowling event at Naval Station Mayport on Monday night. Players and cheerleaders interacted with over 200 active duty military members and their families. It was part of the Salute to Service campaign all across the NFL. A couple turnovers by Bortles, including a pick six. They take over after the missed 49-yard field goal by the Texans. 1st and 10 from the 39. Ivory is in and gets to run and is stuck as he hits that line of scrimmage by an emerging player, McKinney. It is limited to a gain of 2. He's up to the 41.
He looked at the first couple possessions, not the start that Blake Bortles was looking for, but he really came back, Kevin, in that second series. There 13 plays. He was 7 of 8 on that drive, and of course finished with a touchdown. And unfortunately, the last possession, trying to throw the ball away to the feet of T.J. Yeldon, resulted in that interception.
Into the nickel, 2nd down and 8. Nice catch by Lee. That's right in front of Kareem Jackson, who had the pick six earlier in the game. That is a gain of 7, and they're up to the 48-yard line.
Sometimes when you have receivers like Lee who have that elite speed to run by corners on those deep vertical routes, you can really get them on some of these underneath breaking routes, some of these back shoulder throws, because the corners, the smart ones like Kareem Jackson, don't want you running by them in the secondary.
With a 3rd and 1, and Ivory offering a block on the play. They get the first down with a tumbling catch right there by Allen Hurns. It is a gain of 2, and he's out to midfield. Rich, you were talking earlier about the mechanics of Bortles. What did you see on tape with his mechanics in throwing the ball?
Well, I see some inconsistency, and I think the goal right now is to try and get him more technically and fundamentally sound and comfortable throwing the football. But it's so hard to do that during the season.
I know.
They did spend some time during the bye week. They brought in Adam Dado, who was a guy that Bortles has worked with in the offseason out in California to try and smooth out some of those mechanics.
With a 1st and 10 right here. They get around Parnell outside. What a catch. Was he inbounds? It was a good try by Robinson. He stabs it. Nice catch. 16-yard pickup to the 34 of Houston, a 1st down.
And a really nice route. Look at the patience at the top of the route. A little bit of a push-off there by Robinson to be able to create some separation, but good concentration on the boundary.
Working on the veteran, Jonathan Joseph. 1st and 10, Ivory. And picks up 2 on the play. John Simon has 1 to stop him at the 32-yard line of the Houston Texans.
You know, you see a lot of these runs, Kevin, these 2-yard runs, these 3-yard runs, a run that gets back to the line of scrimmage. You have to stay committed and patient with the running game. And that's one of the things that Nathaniel Hackett talked to us about on Friday. So we've got to stay patient. We've got to continue to get both of these backs some touches. I think that more than anything can really help Blake Bortles. And of course, off of that can come some big opportunities and shots in the play action game.
The second Nate bobbled by Ivory, and then it looked like Bortles tried to jump in there and get it. Ivory may have fallen out of it actually after he bobbled the ball. Ivory has had, that's his 3rd fumble of the year. He does recover. He's only lost 1 of the 3.
This one looked like maybe Bortles was thinking about pulling it out. A little bit of indecision there, and of course, that was not a clean exchange between the quarterback and running back.
Yeah, they may go to the quarterback actually, huh? Or is the former quarterback? He said, no.
No, that's never the quarterback. Come on, Kevin. That's a silly question.
But you know, you're talking about patience. So few teams have the patience to stick with the run and stay with the game.
Well, I think you have to when you have a quarterback that's been through a tough cycle, and I think that he's going to come out of it. We already saw signs of that earlier today, but you just got to make sure you stay committed to running the football.
There's a 3rd and 12 right now for Blake Bortles. He undershoots his receiver on the play. That was Robinson. Going into a thicket of defenders. 4th and 12. Here comes some boos cascading down, and they are going to try for a field goal.
He had a little bit of push in his face. Clowney got that big right hand up in there, and that made it a little more difficult for Bortles to trust the protection, sit in there and make a good accurate throw down the field.
It'll be a 54-yard try by Jason Myers. You see his long. And he'll have a slight breeze here in Jacksonville on this 73-degree day in his face. From 54, right down the middle. They had a 16-yard pass to Robinson. That got them in pretty good range. And they come up with 3 on that possession. Our clock at 5:17 here in the second. It's a 4-point game in Jacksonville on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by American Express. This Small Business Saturday, get out and shop small. And by Intel. Upgrade to a new PC with powerful performance.
People always wonder what Rich does on Saturdays when he's on the road, and this is a pretty good indication. With your GoPro. It's actually one of our cameramen based here in Jacksonville who really looked pretty good. Bob Carmody, who was out there and braving the waves and the surf and
hang loose.
Hang loose.
It was beautiful. It's been a beautiful weekend here in Jacksonville. Kevin was able to get out, enjoy the beach a little bit, but not a lot of windsurfing for us.
Ensuing kickoff after the 54-yard field goal. It's taken by the rookie running back Tyler Urban out of San Jose State. And he takes it up the middle and finds about 18 yards on the return. And the Houston Texans will get it for a 3rd time on offense. With a reminder that tonight, now that Donald Trump is the president-elect, he is going to do one big interview. Where? Where else? 60 Minutes. That's tonight. Only CBS. So they begin here at the 22-yard line. Like I said, they've only had it 2 previous possessions, and this is their very short resume in the first half.
Just 15 offensive snaps, Kevin. It's been tough.
Miller is the running back. Lamar will get it. And into a thicket of defenders again there, too. Not a whole lot. He only carves out a yard. He's up to the 23-yard line.
One thing that has concerned, I know, Bill O'Brien a little bit is the lack of explosive plays. Just 11 plays of 25 yards or more coming to today's game, fewest in the league. And just not having a lot of success pushing the ball down the field.
Second and 8. With Miller by his side, he takes the fake and offers a block, and on the move they go to the tight end Griffin, who is belted out of bounds. Big hit there by Abu Kamara, the former Giant, and only a gain of a yard on the play. Rich, you mentioned Bill O'Brien. He called the plays in 2014, handed those duties to Godsey last year, but now O'Brien has taken over again this year calling the plays.
A lot like Mike McCarthy, we saw that in Green Bay last year. I think when you give up not only the play calling duty, Kevin, you give up the ability to control the tempo, the pace, and the flow of the game. And I think that's what was frustrating for Bill O'Brien a little bit, but they've got it worked out. George Godsey's very much involved as well, and a young quarterback that hasn't played a lot of football, that just needs reps in this system.
Just signed Akeem Hunt is back there, 3rd and 7. Clark, a good job. Osweiler on the move, has the first down, and he takes it past the 35 to the 36. And the 6'7" quarterback running for 11 on the play to the 36 and a first down for Houston.
And this is one of the things we talked with Brock Osweiler about last night, some of the issues on 3rd down. They're seeing so much man-to-man coverage. And one of the things that you can really help yourself as a quarterback with all the man-to-man coverage, there are some rushing lanes. And your ability to pull it down and make a run on 3rd down, this is a good sign if you're the Houston Texans. He is talented enough to make some first downs with his legs.
It's Akeem Hunt back in there again. Good block by Brown. Oh, nice knock away there by Malik Jackson. He was holding the guy that it was going to, and the running back, he nearly signed Hunt, and he swats that ball away, incomplete.
Well, Jackson's been a really nice addition. You look at him right over the nose. Actually, he's right over here, over the right guard, and he reads screen the entire way, and you see they try and sneak out the back. Jackson's not going for it. He's made a couple really alert plays already here in the first half.
Second down, 10, Miller. Rams his way into Brown, nothing there. Telvin Smith, along with a couple others, knocking it backwards. He's back to the 35. Well, we told you coming in, first place, AFC South leading Houston. And defending that title they won a year ago. They've won 2 of 3 coming off a bye. They beat Detroit, Rich, 2 weeks ago, 20-13. There's an injury timeout. A Jaguars, no, make it a, that's Lamar Miller who's down. We'll take a break. There's Miller, who walked off under his own power. We know he came in with a bad shoulder. Thus, Akeem Hunt has been signed and is playing, but watch that left ankle get held onto there by Miles Jack.
Miles Jack is holding on for dear life, and unfortunately, you never want to get caught awkwardly at the bottom of a pile. That's exactly what happened to Lamar Miller.
Texans looking for their first road win. They are 0-3 coming in. They have a 3rd and 11. They're scored on a pick 6 and a short touchdown pass to Griffin. 3rd and 11.
Yeah, but everyone up the line of scrimmage, no one in the middle of the field.
Blue is in. Osweiler looks into 5 defensive backs. Blue with the block on the move. Hopkins only the 2nd time they've gone to him, and there's a tackle made by Ramsey. Cyprian was there. Flag has been thrown. The gain to the 49. Picks up 16 on the play. He caught one on this near sideline. Remember, they threw the other one across the way, but that was a penalty.
Before the pass was thrown, holding, defense, number 20. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
Rich has a 2nd penalty on Ramsey, the 1st-round pick out of Florida State. Watching Hopkins today.
And he's going to have his hands full. Hopkins is so quick and so good out of breaks, and right at the top, he just gets turned back up underneath and tries to grab. Play a lot of man-to-man coverage, and that kind of, look at him talking. Ramsey's been looking forward to this matchup all week.
He's going up against a 2nd-team All-Pro receiver from a year ago with 111 catches. Amazing numbers. 1st and 10. Osweiler swings the pass across the way. And grabbed on the play by Braxton Miller, who played all positions, it seems, in that offense for the Buckeyes. It's a gain of 10. We've reached the 2-minute warning in Jacksonville on CBS. They didn't give us enough time. There's a pass outside on 1st and 10. It's caught by Hopkins. Again, working on the rookie Ramsey. He takes it down to the 32-yard line of Jacksonville with a gain of 8. Make it 7.5 through the air.
And I think if you're the rookie, Jalen Ramsey, you have to continue to change up looks versus DeAndre Hopkins. You just can't give him the same look every time. You see the matchup up top. Some press, some man, some press bail. You have to make him work in and out of press.
It's a 2nd down and 3. This is Blue. With the blocking ahead of him by Jeff Allen, the guard, and he burrows his way probably for nothing more than a couple inches, and that's about it. Houston has a single timeout. Jackson's got 3. Coming up the Verizon halftime report from our CBS studios in New York. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowan. News, scores, highlights. You will get everything you want coming up on the Verizon halftime report. 3rd and 3. Hopkins, Mumphrey, Miller, bottom of your screen. Hunt at the side of Osweiler. 3rd and 3 behind Hopkins and incomplete. 4th and 3. That was just a bad pass, or was it a bad route? One of the two, Rich.
Well, I think Osweiler, Kevin, throws the ball before DeAndre Hopkins even has his head around him. I mean, the receiver has to see the ball leave your hands. If it's a quick route like this, Osweiler had more time, and of course he misses on the back shoulder.
They're going to try for a field goal. This means that Nick Novak, who has played with Dallas, Washington, Arizona, San Diego, the Chiefs, and Jets, now wears the colors of the Houston Texans, will try a 50-yard field goal. He has already missed from 49, but missed from 49 at the other end. 50-yarder. Or was it on this side? It was on this side. Wind at his back. 50-yarder. And it is no good. He's missed again. Two missed Texan field goals. One from 49, one from 50 yards away. And Novak can't get it. He had made 9 straight field goals coming into today. Granted, they were much shorter than 49 and 50 yards.
Well, good opportunity here, Kevin, for Jacksonville. Good field position. They've got all 3 timeouts left. Opportunity to come away with some points here at the end of the half.
Yeldon in the backfield, 1st and 10. get by Parnell again. It's incomplete across the way. Shooting for one of his tight ends. That was Julius Thomas. The coverage on the play by Pleasant. 2nd and 10.
Good conversation last night with Clowney, and I just, I was always amazed, Kevin. He had so many problems coming out of college with the knee and the injury there, and told us last night that, really he couldn't bend for his first 2 seasons or turn the corner with that speed rush. Didn't really have the strength, the flexibility, the confidence in that knee and leg.
2nd down and 10. Underneath they go. This is Thomas with a nice catch, and they run him out of bounds. It is a gain of 2, and the pressure was applied by James and McKinney chasing him out. Yeah, talking to Clowney, he said, I weigh less, and so it's better for my knee.
Yeah, but look what you're seeing now. You're seeing the teams put back out there to chip a little bit. He is a little lighter at 264 pounds, but the guy that can really be disruptive, Jadeveon Clowney.
He's got that brace, Rich, too, on that elbow. 2nd straight game he's worn that.
Yeah, he's not healthy there either, but he's not going to miss. He's not going to miss a game. I think he's having his best season as a pro.
3rd and 8. They need midfield. Oh, the pressure is there. Merciless couldn't get him. Here comes Bortles. He's very good on the run, and he's got the first down near the 47 of Houston. Big decision. Gain of 11. First down, and they stop the clock in the process with 3 timeouts and 48 seconds to play in the half.
This was the concern last night of Romeo Crennel. He said we cannot let him escape and get outside the pocket. He's got some Ben Roethlisberger tendencies when he does. He can make big plays on the move, and he's not afraid to pull it down and run as well.
1st and 10. Yeldon is in. Yeldon has it as he can't make the stop. And a couple missed tackles on the play. Also missing there at the end was Demps. Finally runs out of real estate to the sideline with the clock stopped, and 7-yard catch and run by T.J. Yeldon.
Well, they've got all 3 timeouts now. They can throw the ball anywhere on the field, and haven't been able to really get the ball down the field a little bit. You look at these receivers, Robinson and Hearns. A lot of the stuff has been short and underneath against this Houston secondary.
The secondary has 6 in it right now for the Texans. 2nd down and 3. Looking for Lee. Incomplete. Right with him was Kareem Jackson. 3rd and 3.
Good coverage there by Jackson. I think both of these cornerbacks of the Texans have played well. Jonathan Joseph, Kareem Jackson. They match up well. You look at teams, these divisional games, Kevin, where both teams are so familiar with one another, their strengths, their weaknesses, their tendencies, how they want to attack. Not a lot of surprises when these 2 teams get together.
Usually makes it fun.
380.
Hey, 27.
380.
With a 3rd and 3 Bortles. And that is incomplete. It looked like Demps may have gotten a hand on that pass. Laser pass for Julius Thomas. Now it's 4th and 3. I keep the offense on the field.
I think you go for it. I mean, look, you're a 2-6 football team. You need to get something going. You need a big play. You need a big win, and no reason to hold back now.
Well, it'll be about a 58-yard field goal by Jason Myers. That is his career long. They're going to go for it. And they're 2-6.
And their defense is playing well.
4th down and 3. Again, they get around Parnell. Here comes Clowney. There goes the ball. It was almost picked up by Demps. Just about had it. And on downs, the Texans take over with 28 seconds and a timeout left.
Yeah, this is not an easy throw, but it's not a good one. I mean, just sails over the head of his intended target, Julius Thomas. That could have easily been intercepted by Quentin Demps. Dodged another bullet there.
He's already thrown 2. One was a deflection off a foot, kind of a weird one, but he has thrown a pick 6 to Jackson.
That's really been the issue with Blake Bortles, Kevin, the turnovers. 54, 55 now, 55 turnovers in 38 games, 47 interceptions and 8 fumbles.
Blue is in. We have not seen Lamar Miller since he was injured. There's a 1st and 10 right here. Good time for Osweiler. Backed away. Coming up in the new Verizon halftime report being put together for you right now in our CBS studios in New York. JB and Company with scores, news, and highlights. That's next on the Verizon halftime report. Second down and 10.
Well, neither team has really been able to run the ball successfully on the early downs. I think Jacksonville's defensive line has played really well. You get a good look at Malik Jackson. Last week they did a terrific job. In Kansas City, they played maybe their best defensive game, especially on third down.
Running back Hunt in motion, second down and 10. Here comes Osweiler, needs the 50. He's being chased down the play. Ooh, and a hit right there by Dante Fowler. Oh, what a bad, inappropriate move right there by the second-year player, Fowler.
Well, that is bad decision.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 56 with a late hit after the player went out of bounds. It's a 15-yard penalty. First down.
Gets him into the outskirts of field goal range, although now with missing 2 with Novak from 49 and 50, really not sure what that is, but that was a bad penalty in the part of Fowler for Jacksonville.
And
really cost them.
And you have to know better, and Gus Bradley not at all happy. Once those quarterbacks get out of bounds and on that white, you can't touch them. That little push, that little shove at the end was just enough to draw the flag.
He missed his rookie year, did linebacker Fowler with an ACL. With the first down. Brown to get a good block at that left tackle. That's incomplete for Griffith. The coverage by Cyprian in the secondary for Jacksonville's 11th ranked defense.
Well, they still have the one timeout left, so they can still work and attack in the middle of the field. Throwing the ball away in that situation, not the end of the world. Would be a bad place to take a shot, a double move down the field. You're seeing so much single high, man-free coverage that the receivers are getting some really good looks on the outside lanes. A little double move, a little out and up.
It's Mumphrey down there, second and 10. Blue is in, time to throw. Other side they go, looking for Hopkins, who was at a lot of attention over there with Ramsey and with Deshaun Gibson coming over from the safety. Now third and 10, 7 seconds left, and a timeout for the Texans, who have a field goal kicker that has missed 2 here in the first half from 49 and 50.
I thought it was interesting when we visited with Bill O'Brien last night. We were talking about the interception reel. You study these interceptions that Osweiler has thrown. He said most of them have been in the direction of DeAndre Hopkins, his top target. And I said that's a little unusual. Most of the interceptions that quarterbacks throw, Kevin, it's to the backup tight end or the third receiver. He's had a tendency to try and fit one in there to DeAndre Hopkins.
So yeah, 8 of the 9.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Third and 10. Osweiler, low, Hopkins can't reel it in. And Ramsey defending. Now you've got 4 seconds to go. And will they keep the offense out there? Looks like they will.
They're going to take a shot down the field. This ball has to reach the end zone. A couple different ways to do it. The old rebound play where you put a number of receivers to one side and have the quarterback drop back, buy a little bit of time, and put one up in the end zone.
It would be, Rich, about a 55-yard field goal, and with the 2 misses on this end
I don't think
already,
you give him a chance.
Yeah, right, exactly. So 4th and 10. And with time and looking deep, and yeah, he couldn't catch that even if
You got to give him a chance. That ball lands 3 or 4 yards out of bounds.
Exactly.
I don't like the decision. I don't know if it was the play call. Why not drop back, give your receivers a chance to get in the end zone, and at least give them a chance to make a play.
Difference in the game, a pick 6 by Kareem Jackson of Houston. That's the end of the first half. Back with the Verizon halftime report after this. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Texan pick 6, the difference in this one right now. That is our halftime score. Going to the third. Time now for the Head and Shoulders greatness highlight of the first half, brought to you by Head and Shoulders. Bortles the throw. Kareem Jackson takes it the other way. He had a pick 6 against Bortles last year to end the season against Jacksonville. And there you have it. Shoulders of greatness. Look at Bortles on the left and Jackson on the right. Kevin Harlan along with the NFL MVP Rich Gannon. Let's talk about adjustments here in the second half.
Well, you look at the struggles, Kevin, that Houston has had on the road, and particularly at the quarterback position. Blake Bortles and Brock Osweiler has to play better. Just 69 passing yards from Brock in the first half. You look at the run defense, they've been terrific. Keep stuffing the run. They're just 56 yards rushing from Jacksonville. On the other side of it, Bortles got off to a really rocky start with the interception early, but I thought he rebounded nicely. I think he needs to continue to push the ball down the field and throw the ball with some confidence. And finally, you look at the matchup we've been talking about a lot today, the rookie Jalen Ramsey on DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins just 3 catches for 31 yards. If I'm Bill O'Brien, I'm calling plays for the Texans. I got to think about players in critical situations. I've got to do more to get DeAndre Hopkins involved in this game plan. He needs some more opportunities in the second half.
With a look at Tyler Ervin, the rookie out of San Jose State. While he was at San Jose State, he had 3 kick return touchdowns, 2 punt return touchdowns. He was terrific at the college level. The Texans in the first half reached no penalties, no turnovers, no sacks allowed on Osweiler.
And that really shouldn't surprise you, the discipline. This is a very good, disciplined team, the Houston Texans. Just 42 penalties coming into today's game. That's the second fewest in the NFL.
Our second half is underway here in Jacksonville. That's out of the end zone, so a touchback. It'll go to the 25-yard line. It will be 1st and 10, 5-3 Texans, 2-6 Jaguars, and through 30 minutes of football, these are some of the numbers.
And even you look at the rushing yards, Kevin, they're skewed because you look at what Osweiler has done running the football. He's made a couple big runs. He's had 19 yards rushing, and also you look at Blake Bortles has had a couple runs on 3rd down. So I think neither team has had a lot of success running the football. The big reason why has been the play of both defenses on the early downs. I think that's been the big story in the game. Both defenses have done a terrific job on 1st and 2nd down.
Lamar Miller is in. 1st and 10. With the fake and a block by Clark and down the sideline. Incomplete. Hopkins again working on Ramsey. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Texans.
Well, this has been a fun matchup to watch. We talked about it in the open. Jalen Ramsey on the veteran DeAndre Hopkins. There's been some pushing, there's been shoving, there's been a couple penalties, but I thought Ramsey has really handled himself well. There's one of the penalties, a second pass interference penalty. But other than that, you look at the numbers, Hopkins just 3 catches for 31 yards in the first half. The rookie is holding his own against Hopkins.
With a 2nd down and 10, this is Miller. Not a lot there. Osweiler has missed his last 7 passes. That is a gain of a yard with some tackling there by Odrick. And Miller taking it in. The bad shoulder we've talked about already. The Texans looking for their first win on the road. They're in first place in the AFC South.
I think if you're Todd Wash, the defensive coordinator for Jacksonville, you have to be pleased. They built on last week's performance from a defensive perspective. But they really played well on the road last week. They shut the Chiefs down. There were just one conversion on 3rd down last week in 14 tries. This is really where they've improved as a defense on 3rd down.
Blue is in. 3rd and 9.
They're really crowding the line of scrimmage.
Boy, they are. You're right. Now they go back. 3rd and 9, moving up nicely. Osweiler on the move, has to get to the 35. It was a Hopkins catch. He had a couple over there, out of bounds on the chalk in front of his own bench, as you can see. 4th and 9 flag has been thrown. 2 of them by the line of scrimmage. Ron Torbert.
There were 2 fouls on the play, both by the offense, holding number 74 and holding number 79. Both penalties are declined. Result of the play is 4th down.
Rich, that's the right side of the line you're talking about, which has been an issue for the Texans this season.
It really has, and they've struggled to run the ball behind that side. They've also given up some pressures on that side. They need to get better production on the right side of the offensive line, in particular Allen and Clark.
Well, Allen, one of the poor run blockers this season in the NFL, lowly ranked in that category.
They missed Derek Newton, who went on IR earlier in the season.
Leckler to punt. First time today for Leckler. Secondary he'll be in camp. Flag has been thrown. End time of 4-5. It's Rashad Green. 46-yard punt. Irvin was down there covering on the play. Like we said, a flag across the way at about the 29-yard line. Somebody's out of bounds, too, because the hat is off the official.
It'll be against Jacksonville.
Yep, they use that, don't they, Rich, instead of a flag sometimes because they got so much going on.
Yep, to make sure they get the spot.
Yep.
While the ball was in the air, personal foul by the return team, blocking out of bounds. The penalties enforce half the distance from the end of the kick. Jacksonville's ball, first down.
That is the 18th special teams penalty against Bradley's special teams here in Jacksonville. Number 1 in the NFL. Timeout. This offense of Jacksonville not moving the ball, but they have moved the ball today. They struggled in the past. Today they're moving it.
Yeah, they got a first down every possession. They have had success moving the ball despite a couple turnovers in the first half.
Yeldon is in. There's the fake to him. It's 1st and 10. They go on a little tight end pass there. Lewis, incomplete. And the coverage on the play by Quentin Demps. 2nd down and 10 for Jacksonville.
You know, one of the things that the Jaguars did when they made the change from Greg Olsen and Nathaniel Hackett came in and really tried to focus on, you know, what the quarterback does well, what we're good at as an offense, and really scale back the volume a little bit and really try and streamline and make sure that everybody knows and understands what we're doing so that they could play faster and more efficiently.
2nd down and 10. Yeldon steps a couple, and then he's finally hauled down there by Christian Covington, who's in the place of Water. He's filled that position. Gain of 7 right there. He's out to the 19-yard line. Which that's got to be tough, though, to have a change in mid-flight. The captain of the ship is now not there, and you got somebody else flying the plane.
And you can't make dramatic changes. That's the problem, Kev. You can't just scrap the playbook and start over. You've got to really focus in on the quarterback. And I think what they've done a nice job is trying to find ways to get Bortles more comfortable under center.
That was a 3rd and 3 right here, and they go outside on this one. They got the first down. Nice balance kept by Allen Robinson. Finally hit by the linebacker, John Simon. So the catch and run takes him out to the 34, gain of 15, first down.
A little simple stop route. You see the cushion from Jackson. Look at Blake Bortles when he's in rhythm, when he sets his feet, and when he's good with his eyes. You know, when you talk about the quarterback position, it's all about eyes and feet. And I think when you watch Bortles and he's in rhythm, he could be effective. But where he gets himself in trouble is when he starts on one side of the field and he's late coming back with his eyes to the other side.
Yeldon on 1st and 10, wrapped up by Clowney. He's been very good against the run. And he throws him for a 1-yard loss back to the 33. So it's about eyes and feet for a quarterback.
It is, and I think that, you know, the big thing is just trying to get him in rhythm, and I think that's really been a focal point for Nathaniel Hackett, who was the quarterback coach. He's still coaching him up and just making sure he understands about the importance of hitching up in the pocket and trusting your feet. Your feet will find the completion.
With the 2nd 11 here into the nickel of the Houston Texans. A throw by Bortles, and outside some dancing by Robinson. Grabbed onto by Kareem Jackson on the play. And he gains 5. Bortles must have been hit because he's coming up a little bit gimpy.
They bring the pressure off the edge. You're going to see it comes late, but he doesn't flinch. He knows exactly where he wants to go with the football. Makes a good accurate throw and sits in there with a tough jaw.
Quentin Demps.
They're trying to get to Bortles. You know, you really want to. The quarterback is struggling a little bit, Kevin, with the decision-making, the accuracy. You want to get around him. You want to force him to make a lot of tight window throws, a lot of contested throws. That's why you're seeing so much man-to-man coverage.
6 defensive backs, 3rd down and 5. On the move, Yeldon. Pleasant can't get him. With a good cut and gang tackle with a first down run. Near the 44-yard line of the Houston Texans. Yeldon out of Alabama with a 17-yard catch and run. James brings him down 1st and 10.
Well, this is nice. I like this. You're going to see, we saw Yeldon chip earlier, and now he's going to just come out on the crossing route. So he helps his tackle with a little bit of presence there on Clowney, and then he just runs the little shallow cross. And the defensive back gets caught up in traffic, and TJ Yeldon, this is what you want. You want to get one of your best players in space.
There's a 1st and 10. Ivory was in. The fake to him. Blocked by Beach, and he's got the receiver, and it turns, and it's incomplete downfield. And he had some separation with the coverage by James and Hal.
Boy, everything was just perfect. The protection, the play action fake, the route.
I mean, he was wide open.
Everything but the throw. And this is one that Blake Bortles is going to want to have back. Look at the wobble on that one. You got to hit him when you have him that open down the middle of the field.
Rich, I got to tell you, and watching all the I don't think I've seen a pro quarterback throw as many wobbly passes. Not just today, but in the past.
Well, you know, I was floored when he told me on Friday he's not a natural thrower of the football. I've never actually heard a quarterback at any level say that.
Ivory on 2nd 10, stuffed right there, stoned about the 42, picks up 2. I mean, that is an odd statement for an NFL quarterback that he's not a natural
Kevin, in
passer.
30 years as a player and as an analyst, I've never heard a quarterback at any level say that. So I was surprised to hear him say that. He said he always felt comfortable in the move and outside the pocket, not as comfortable in the pocket. I just think that there's some things in his game that can be fixed. I think it really starts with his feet. He learned some bad habits. He got away with some bad things. The other thing about Blake Bortles, he's never been sat down. You know what I mean? I think in 3 years, he's turned the ball over a lot, but there's never been any consequences. He hasn't learned the importance of ball security.
With a 3rd and 8 right here, underneath and behind, but a nice catch made by Thomas, and then he's just only going to get 2 yards on the play. Redwell on the play by Joseph and by McKinney. Both there with the stop at the 40-yard line.
And Kevin, I always tell you the story about when I learned the importance of ball security. It wasn't until later in my career when Marty Schottenheimer, a veteran coach, told me that you won't play, you won't make the team if you turn the football over. And Blake Bortles, unfortunately, has never had that lesson. And he's never been sat down for a performance issue, for a performance-related issue. And I think in hindsight, if Gus Bradley could do it over again, he may have sat him down at some point to teach him a lesson that you can't turn the football over.
Here's a punt now coming up from Brad Nortman, who's been a very nice free agent find for this team. It will go into the end zone. And a touchback and a 40-yard punt. So Bortles missing on that drive. Could have meant 6. Instead, it means a seat on the bench.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Garmin Fitness. Let's beat yesterday. And by AutoTrader. Find your perfect new, used, or certified car on AutoTrader.
Future military, the oath of enlistment ceremony here at halftime in Jacksonville. Kind of get a lump in your throat, Rich, watching that.
That's pretty amazing.
Commitment those young people make.
Thank you so much for saying yes.
After a punt by Jacksonville, here's the 1st and 10 run, and it goes off to Akeem Hunt, 2nd year back out of Purdue. He's been up and off that practice squad, picks up a nice 9 right there, and he's up to about the 29-yard line. Miles Jack, a rookie out of UCLA, makes the Jaguar stop.
Kevin, how often do we see a team bring up a player like Akeem Hunt off the practice squad, a guy that's busy grinding away, getting better at his craft every day, giving the defense a look in practice, and now he finally gets the opportunity to get some touches.
Second down and 1. A busted play, one of the two. Now he's running for his life. He's got Alu on his tail along with Cyprien. It is a gain of 4. He's up to the 33 on the play. Let's go to James in New York.
Kevin, halftime adjustment.
Yeah, Rich, you'll appreciate this. Keep people in the block. Von Miller, give Drew Brees time. He finds right here Brandon Cooks, 37 yards out. 37 yards and sets up a Brees to really sneak touchdown. And now in the second half, here comes that New Orleans offense, 10-10.
All right, I'm sure Rich does appreciate that.
I love extra blockers, guys. I never got it, but I love it. I like the idea.
Saints are hot, too. They've won 4 of 5. Here's a 1st and 10. Osweiler. Good time. Good throw. Drops. Coverage is there by Cyprien on DeAndre Hopkins. I said good throw. I'm not really necessarily sure that it was. It was close to being on target, but didn't get him in stride.
It seemed like it took a while for this play to develop. I mean, you look there, it's the crossing route. When you see DeAndre Hopkins lined up inside the numbers, it's a pretty good indicator that something's up.
Meaning what?
He's going to run a crossing route. There are some tendencies that as you study tape, when you see him outside the numbers, this is normally where he lines up. When he's inside the numbers, there's a good chance he may be working across the field.
Good day by Ramsey on him, too. 2nd down and 10. Here comes Hunt. And a block by Braxton Miller. And there goes Hunt, weaving and gliding his way inside the 35. What a run. Looked like Cyprien was the one to bring him down. 32-yard run. No, and it's an on.
Number 74. 10-yard penalty.
It's on Chris Clark.
Second down.
He's been called a couple times today at the right tackle. What, me? Unfortunately, yeah, you, if you're a Texan fan.
We've been talking about the struggles that they've had running behind the right side, and that was a really good-looking run. And unfortunately, it's going to be called back.
You know, it was supposed to be Derek Newton over there, but he tore a pair of patella tendons, and so it's Clark taking his place. Clark was on the left side to begin the season, taking the place of Brown.
Well, it just gets that hand around the back shoulder.
Second down, 20. Ace defense underneath, Fedora waits. That is how you say it. One down in the play by Telvin Smith. Gain of 5. He's up to the 30-yard line.
You look at Fedora, which is production, Kevin, over the last month, and the numbers are certainly up. I mean, even all tight ends, you know, for this team, the last couple of years, they've really struggled getting the production they want at that position. But I always say that, you know, the quickest way to the end zone is right down the middle of the field. It's also in the direct vision of the quarterback, and that's where the tight ends make their mark. You have to have some juice. You have to have some production out of your tight ends. They're starting to get that with the Texans.
They need the 43. 3rd and 13, Hunt. Nice tackle in the open field there by Smith. Over the last 2 seasons, the second most tackles in the NFL, Telvin Smith. It is a gain of 3, shy of the firsts, and the bunny unit with Leckler will come out there for the Texans.
You don't know if that's a conservative call on 3rd and long or just something that they saw. Maybe they felt they could split one up the gut. Just always asked the head coach when he came to the sidelines, what are you thinking? Give me a chance to throw the ball 3rd and long.
Here comes Leckler, number 1 gross punter of all time in the NFL. 6-time All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowl Leckler. He'll send it skyward. Green is under, looking into that bright Jacksonville sun. He's moving. It was brought down in the play with the nice special teams tackle there by Steven Anderson. 11-yard return, 50-yard punt, 6:01 in the 3rd. It'd be a nice day to be on the water, wouldn't it, huh? This little ski boat out there and taking in the sights of Jacksonville. Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon. 1st and 10 after the punt. Ivory is in. Offers a block, but he missed on Cushing. Oh, and there everything crumbles, and down he goes. No quarterback has been sacked more. With Cushing coming through, and that's a loss of 8 on the play. They'll push him back to the 19-yard line of Jacksonville.
Well, you've seen a lot of this internal crosstalk with Cushing going second, and the back gets caught up in the wash, and he can't make the block on Cushing, which forces Bortles right back up into the lap
of DJ Reader. Yeah, and Reader taking the place of Vince Wilfork.
Yeah, he's done a nice job in the middle.
He's a rookie, Rich, out of Clemson.
He's a big man that can collapse the pocket, can also hold up at the nose tackle position, taking on those double teams.
He started at the defensive end last week, makes his 2nd consecutive start today, and taking the place of the 5-time Pro Bowler Wilfork with the groin injury. 2nd and 18, in the dirt, incomplete. So now it's 3rd and 18 for Bortles, who just got sacked for the first time. And let's talk a bit about these 2 quarterbacks and their performance today.
Well, we talked at halftime. The Texans have to find a way to get Brock Osweiler going a little bit, Kevin. Look, the numbers have not been good on the road. He's a much different player on the road. Production's simply not there. 0-3 on the road, and the completion percentage way down. Touchdowns way down. The mistakes way up. And that's got to get corrected. They've got to find a way to make some plays here in the second half.
6 defensive backs, 3rd and 18 for Bortles. Underneath he goes. A nice play, read well that time by Pleasant as he drills Mercedes Lewis. Here come the boos. Loss of 3, back to the 17. Punting situation coming up now for Jacksonville.
Well, Eddie Pleasant playing man-to-man coverage on the tight end Mercedes Lewis. Good form tackle. I mean, that's, if you're at home watching as a youngster, that's how you want to do it. Head up, wrap those arms, and drive that big tight end to the ground.
He only played 6 games a year ago, originally off the practice squad, has worked his way to seeing a lot of good snaps for that defense of the Texans.
That's how our coach Cowell teaches it back in the studio.
Absolutely. Thornton in the front once again. Having his best season since 2013 from Carolina, the free agent. He's back as Irvin. Hang time of 3-6. So this is a kind of result. When you don't hang the ball, this is the result. Here comes Irvin. He's returned him in college, and he's taken down by Peyton Thompson downfield for Jacksonville. We told you earlier he had 2 punt return touchdowns and 3 kick return touchdowns. As a player at San Jose State, returns that one 58 yards.
Well, you could see this happening. Watch this wedge right here. Look at this angle and look at this hole. I mean, just that you could see it. You could see it developing, and of course, he's able to make the one tackler miss there. That's a great return by Tyler Irvin.
And only hang time, Rich, as I said before, 3-6. It's got to be 4-5 or better to get that group down there to cover. Texans now, 1st and goal at the 7. Fake to Miller. He's got an open tight end. That's a quick 6 right there. Steven Anderson, 1st career touchdown reception. 2nd tight end touchdown catch today.
Jacksonville's not doing a good enough job passing things off. You see the motion come in. He's going to stop, and then he works all the way back across the formation. The defender, for some reason, he has his eyes in the backfield. That's Prince Amukamara, and he is late getting back across the field in his man-to-man coverage of Steven Anderson. Sometimes you play with your eyes. If you have your eyes in the backfield, it makes you late to your assignment. They've had a lot of success working those tight ends back across the formation.
With the extra point, it is 21-10, the Houston Texans. Steven Anderson's a rookie free agent from Cal. He was a 2-year starter for the Bears, but this right here, a 58-yard punt return by the rookie Irvin, sets him up, and the 2nd touchdown pass by Osweiler today.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Nissan. Innovation that excites.
Texans on the road in the division. They've won 2 of 3. They're 5-3 overall. 1st place in the South. They've not won on the road this year, but right now, Rich, looking good, up 21-10.
Yeah, they just got to be able to finish, Kevin. They've not been able to do that so far on the road this season, as you said. And on the other side of it, you look at Jacksonville. It's tough when you're constantly playing from behind. No team has trailed more this season. I think they've been behind over 85% of the time, and that just puts a lot of pressure on your young quarterback, Blake Bortles, and your defense. This is an important drive for Jacksonville. They've got to get some points here and get on the board. They can't let this game get away from them. They're not good enough when they get behind by a couple scores.
Marquise Lee will be back furthest. This one is picked up on the play by Aurelius Ben, the former Buccaneer and Redskin. It is a 16-yard return by the reserve wide receiver to the 21, 1st and 10 for Bortles. Gus Bradley's got a lot on his plate. 4th-year head coach. They come in 2-6. They've lost 3 straight. Got a 1st and 10. Ivory in the backfield. They begin with him. For a block, and he got it. He's wrapped up by Cushing as he gets out to the 25. With a gain of 5 on the play. Cushing makes the stop. Week 10 continues later today on Fox. Then tonight with Sunday Night Football on NBC. Then tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN and Westwood One Radio. Boomer Esiason and I will be in the Meadowlands for the Bengals and the Giants tomorrow night on Westwood One. 2nd and 6. Ivory. Simon wraps him up. Gain of 3 up to the 28. You got a hold that's going to be on Jacksonville.
It's on the left guard. Omame. Could be wrong.
Holding. Offense. Number 77. 10-yard penalty.
You're on it.
Replay 2nd down.
You were on it. Luke Jokel was out with an injury. They plug in this guy. 2nd and 16 coming up. Rich, we just saw Gus Bradley there. In the first half of the last seasons, he's been here 0-8, 1-7, 2-6, and 2-6 now.
Bring back out. 380.
With a 2nd down and 16, beats him the block. And a wobbly throw, and incomplete, and there's a flag. Coverage by Jackson, looking downfield for Marquise Lee.
Well, he was actually in good position. He just panicked, and he's going to hook him. Sometimes you don't turn around and find and locate the ball. You just watch Jackson. He's in really good position.
Defense, number 25.
Just hooks him.
Will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
And there was really no need for it. He had help with the safety, Andre Howell, and he just, for some reason, he just panicked.
So in essence, a 28-yard penalty on the Texans. First and 10.
Green 80. Green try.
Ivory again.
Ooh, it's a good tackle.
Yeah, they almost
attempted tackle.
Yeah, an attempted tackle, and finally it's Hal who gets him out of bounds. A starter all season at the free safety, Hal out of Vanderbilt, and they pick up 3 on the play.
Sometimes it's not necessary to see a hit. You can just hear it. Watch this. That is a good collision. McKinney doesn't miss a lot of tackles, but that guy right there can make you miss.
Green 80.
He's a tough guy to get on the ground.
Green shot.
With a second down and 7 here, once again it is Ivory, and once again tackled in Covington. Holds him to no gain. I just rattled off the records in the first half of the season, the last 4 years for Gus Bradley. Where is he? Where is this organization, Rich, in your view, with him and this organization now?
You know, in a way, Kevin, I think a lot of people would feel sorry for Gus Bradley. He's a very likable coach who's worked really hard at it. I think he occupies the hottest head coaching seat in the league right now. He's 14-42 as a head coach. And I think the slow starts have been a big reason why. You know, you mentioned the 0-8 and 13, 0-6, 1-15 last year, 2-6 this year. And they haven't been able to have that signature win and need to be able to stack some wins together.
Bortles on 3rd and 7, wobbly throw, but a diving catch made by Robinson. Found a soft spot in the defense. Coverage by Joseph, among others, is down to the 35-yard line of the Texans. Picks up 19 on the play. That is a first down.
Well, the thing that Jacksonville has done a nice job of is they've kept Bortles clean. They're doing a nice job with the pocket. I remember talking with offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett. He said last year we played the Houston Texans and our quarterback got beat up bad. He got sacked 8 times. It left a lasting impression, and he's still mad about it. He said, look, the message this week to our offensive line, the quarterback doesn't get touched. And so far, they've done a pretty good job.
Jacksonville has just called a timeout with 1:21 in the 3rd. After the Jaguars' first timeout of the second half, 1st and 10. After a 19-yard completion to Robinson. Yeldon was in the backfield. Bortles will throw it in that direction with McKinney covering the running back from Alabama. Incomplete. Second down and 10. Rich, there was something in Pro Football Focus about Bortles throwing deep and how he was throwing deep so well last year, but not throwing deep as well this year.
Yeah, the production way down. I don't know what happened to the deep ball. They were so good last year, Kevin. Throws it 20 yards or more. He had a very high and very efficient quarterback rating. This year, the number's not so good. He's not been able to connect on the deep ball with either Hearns or Robinson.
Second 10 handoff to Yeldon. He slithers his way into the grasp of Dempsey. Reaches down to the 30-yard line.
Part of the problem is, Kevin, you look at the production they had last year. 35 touchdowns from Blake Bortles. You look at Hearns and Robinson, both had over 1,000 yards receiving. And now all of a sudden, you start seeing different coverages. You see more attention. And they've done some things differently. The expectations were very high for Jacksonville, and I think that's why so many people down here were so disappointed with the poor start once again.
It's a 3rd and 5 for Bortles. Got Julius Thomas. But Pleasant has Thomas, and he's shy of the first down after a gain of 4 on 3rd and 5. Bortles' 3rd down passing has been right on the money today. Richie's been 11 of 14 until there. He had been getting some first downs. Now he's 12 of 15 throwing on 3rd with 9 first downs in the game. It's 4th down.
And I like the decision here by Gus Bradley to go for it, Kevin. We talked about your 2-6 football team.
Yep.
You got to make a play. You got to send a message to your quarterback and to this offense and really to your football team that we can get this thing done.
We'll find out what happens as we get into the 4th quarter. We return to Jacksonville after this message and a word from your station. Watching the NFL on CBS. Rich, as we start the 4th quarter, Gus Bradley has decided on 4th and 1 to go on a field goal try, make it a 1-score game, a 44-yard try right here.
Right. Need the field goal and get around to scoring that touchdown. Kevin, they've got to go for 2 to still tie as an 11-point game at this point.
Jason Myers has knocked one through from 54. This will be a 44-yard field goal try. The wind is stopped and the kick is good. It is a 1-score game as the Jaguars come to within 8, 21-13, 4 seconds into the 4th quarter.
A good snap and a good hold. And as you said, Kevin, we watched Jason Myers in warm-up. He really kicked the ball well. He's got a good leg. He would drive the ball.
From Marist. Closer game now with NFL Mobile. Stream live local Sunday afternoon primetime games and NFL Red Zone right on your mobile device. Learn more at NFL.com/mobile. So we have the Houston Texans winless on the road, but in first place in the division at 5-3. The Jacksonville Jaguars 1-3 at home, 2-6 overall. They've lost 3 in a row after beginning the season 0-3. Last year 5-11.
When you look at those divisional standings, I mean, somehow Jacksonville's somehow able to get a win here today. They go to 2-1 in the division. They go to 3-6. And Kevin, you just look at how crazy this league is. You look at the Baltimore Ravens. Last week, they came off their bye. They had lost 4 straight games.
Yeah.
And they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers at home, and they find themselves in first place. I mean, that's, you know, we could have a team in one of these divisions that finishes 7-9 and maybe makes the postseason.
After the 44-yard field goal, here's the kickoff. Urban, who has had a 58-yard punt return, and set up a subsequent touchdown pass. Lets it go over his head and out of the end zone to the 25. It'll be 1st and 10. Well, tomorrow, Matt LeBlanc is the man with the plan in the hilarious new comedy right after Kevin Can Wait. It's tomorrow, only CBS.
You know, it's been a pretty conservative approach so far for Houston offensively. You know, you look at the numbers. Osweiler just 11 of 23 for 82 yards. A couple of touchdowns that on those little tight end crossers down in the red zone, but they've got to be able to generate some production here in the 4th quarter.
With a couple tight ends, it is 1st and 10. Hunt with a run of 4. Let's take you to New York.
Nip and tuck.
Yeah, the Matt Bryan right here, a double move by Taylor Gabriel will lead to the 76-yard touchdown pass and puts Atlanta up 15-13. Another missed extra point by Atlanta. It's only a 2-point game.
11:04 and counting in the 4th. Back to Kevin Harlan.
Taylor Gabriel, former Cleveland Brown receiver. Matt Ryan having second punt of the year for the Falcons. 2nd down and 6. That is incomplete again for Hopkins. And again the coverage in the play by Ramsey. And again a flag. A lot of guts for this team to put a guy like Ramsey, a rookie, on a veteran, a decorated one too, like Hopkins.
He's going to learn to keep his hands to himself, though, Kevin.
Pass interference. Offense. Number 10. 10-yard penalty. Replay. 2nd down.
On Hopkins.
Let's see here. Oh, yeah, there it is. He just gets his arms around the top shoulder of Jalen Ramsey.
Ramsey's done a nice job on him, Rich. Really
He's
overall,
he's held his own. I mean, the thing you love about him is he's a competitor. He's been talking all week. He wants this matchup. He's not going to back down. He's not gotten a lot of help. He's been out there on an island most of the day against DeAndre Hopkins, and he's held up well.
Hunt is in 2nd and 16. Osweiler right through the hands of his intended receiver. It was a tight end on 3rd and 16.
You look at how Jacksonville has played defensively in this one, Kevin. They've actually done a pretty nice job. They've only given up 183 yards.
Rich, last week to Kansas City, they only gave up, like 250 yards to the Chiefs.
Todd Wash has done a terrific job with this group. Not very complicated. What you see is what you get. They just line up and show it to you and challenge you to beat them one-on-one.
Yeah, 231 against the Chiefs, to be exact. 3rd and 16. Hunt with a block by Braxton Miller and by Brown and by Suafila. And he takes it down for a 1st down to the 36. Good run by practice squad player elevated this weekend, Akeem Hunt. 17-yard meandering run.
Kevin, this is the same play we just saw the last series that got called back on the holding play. I love the design. You send Braxton Miller up in there. He does some of the dirty work. And then you've got Akeem Hunt. He's able to follow right behind. I love the call in that situation. It's a really good lead block by Braxton Miller. And
Mike 50, Mike
Suafilo and Brown and everybody got a hand in it. 1st and 10, 36. With bad ribs and a calf injury now. This is Blue running right into Paul Posluszny. As good a performance as we've seen by a linebacker this season last week in Kansas City. It is a gain of 4. He's up to the 40-yard line.
You know, think back to our conversation last night with Bill O'Brien. He said it's pretty simple in this business sometimes. You know, if you take care of the football, you don't have penalties, and you're able to run the football, you can win in this league. And that's just what they're trying to do here today against Jacksonville. It's not, overly complicated. They're not taking a lot of risks. They're being careful, they're making good decisions, and they're committed to running the football against this Jacksonville defense.
With the 2nd down and 6, and you saw the eye and pressure the block, and there goes Blue. Right over 100 yards against this team last year in a meeting. He's close to a 1st down, just beyond the 45-yard line. And the final game against Jacksonville last year had 102 on the ground. And has been a nice change of pace runner to Lamar Miller, and now we're putting the 3rd guy in there. That is Akeem Hunt. He was undrafted and played at Purdue and then went to the Giants, was let go, and he's been on the Texans practice squad. Looks like they're going to take a measurement.
Looks to be a little bit short, it looks like to me. Maybe 6 inches. Paul McGuire used to be so good at this.
He's short. Oh,
6 inches, is that what I said? Maybe that's 7. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's about 8 lengths.
Paul McGuire. Remember Paul McGuire?
He was so good.
The ball would be on the far side of the field. He's short by a foot.
Paul McGuire and I used to do Jacksonville preseason games.
Isn't that amazing?
With Mike Golick, yeah, and it was a blast.
Paul McGuire was a beauty.
Yeah. He was a terrific punter with the Buffalo Bills.
Yes, he was.
I believe now he and his wife are spending time in Charleston, South Carolina. Good man. He loved the NFL. Still does. 3rd and 1.
This is an area where Jacksonville has really struggled in these 3rd and 1 situations.
They've allowed every 3rd and 1 this year. 6 of 6. Hunt is in. Miller's in motion. It's out to Hunt. A block in the play by Mumphrey. He's got the 1st down. Brought down by Smith. Nice blocking by the wide receivers. That is a pickup of 11. This kid, Akeem Hunt, has come in and run well and sustains the drive for the Texans to the 44.
Well, you get action away, and then they're just going to flip the ball the other way. And you see the reaction you get from the Jacksonville defense. Alualu has to come back and contain that run and force it back up inside. Getting out-leveraged in the running game right now here in the 4th quarter.
With a 1st and 10. Blue crosses the block as the fullback, looking to be in close. He's grabbed by Clark, and he's down like a bag of potatoes down to the 33-yard line. It's a 12-yard run, another 1st down.
Well, they're really getting some really good movement up front. Suafilo, Mance, Allen, look at the push they're getting. They're getting up on the 2nd level, getting those hats on those linebackers. Blue's doing the rest.
Gibson in there, all kinds of guys getting a handle on him. Hunt is in. It's converted. Look at this in the quarter on the ground by the Texans. Hunt has converted a couple 3rd downs on this drive. He's been terrific. He gets the call here on 1st and 10. Brought down that time. There is no gain on the play. The Chiefs and Panthers tackle was made by Posluszny. Let's go to James in New York.
Kevin, Chiefs back in it.
Watch this. Cam Newton gets pressured. Eric Berry not only picks it off, watch his effort. He returns this touchdown. This play 42 yards for the touchdown. Kansas City Chiefs win for 2. Pass to Kelsey. It is now 17-14. Carolina still leads.
10:32 left in regulation. Back to Kevin Harlan.
That's the comeback player of the year a season ago in the National Football League, battling lymphoma. 2nd down and 8. Miller was in. He missed the block, and down goes Osweiler, hit on the play by Aaron Colvin. First sack by Jacksonville, and the loss reached back to the 37. Loss of 7.
Colvin does a nice job sorting this one out. He doesn't go for the play fake. You're going to see him come screaming off the edge. don't know if Miller is responsible to peel back and block him, but he's late with his eyes, and of course, that's just too easy for the safety, Aaron Colvin.
Miller has taken on a much heavier workload with Houston than he had with Miami. He likes it. Hunt is in there now. 3rd and 15. Hunt wheeling, driving, and trying to work his way into the grasp of Gibson. He picks up 4 down to the 33 and into field goal range. Buzz Leslie with a hand on him too.
The good play callers are not afraid to come back to plays that have been successful earlier. We just saw the exact same play with Braxton Miller leading and Akeem Hunt following him around the edge. This time he decides to cut it back.
Well, he has been an adventure today. Nick Novak has missed, as you can see, 2 long runs from 49 and 50. This is a 51-yard field goal try. Richie has missed both at this end of the field. He's got the wind with him.
One right and one left.
Yeah.
Let's maybe go down the middle this time.
Let's see if 3 is a charm for Novak. Dead, solid, perfect. Got it. 3 more on. 24-13. The lead is 11. 2-score game. Timeout. 8:32 in the 4th. Well, success today on the road for the first place Texans in the AFC South.
Yeah, and the problem has been finishing out games on the road, and the message all week from Bill O'Brien: bring your energy. Bring your energy in this one. They're coming off of a bye. They've had a chance to go back and clean up some mistakes and find a way to get it done.
Nick Novak, after that 51-yard field goal, sends it deep and lead to a knee with the 25 that goes. Our clock at 8:32. More Blake Bortles and the Jaguars coming up.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the all-new versatile Honda Ridgeline, the Home Depot, more saving, more doing, and by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM.
Alligator Farm. Remember that James Bond movie where he ran on top of those alligators?
Yeah, looking for a meal, those guys.
380.
Chuck Denton shot that for us yesterday. Chuck, thanks. Risking life and limb for CBS. We love it. 1st and 10. Here's Bortles. He got that one off the lead. The coverage on the play by Jonathan Joseph, and it's a 15-yard pickup and a good way to make a drive start at the 40-yard line.
And I want to see what this team can do, Kevin, and Blake Bortles in particular. Here's an opportunity. You're behind by a couple scores late. You got to pick up the tempo. It's a chance to do something special. Get things turned around. But you got to make some big plays.
Into 6 in the secondary. 1st and 10 for Bortles. Going deep. The ball wobbling, and it was dropped by Lee. Coverage by Hal. And a good job there, too, by Andre Hal. That pass.
Underthrown.
And wobbling.
And he had him, Kevin. Here's another double move. Blake Bortles does a good job with his eyes. Now he's just got to throw it. Go ahead and crank it out there. Look at the ball wobble up in the air.
Gosh.
The receiver literally has to stop and turn around for the ball. And Hal's able to do just enough to knock it out. A better throw not only gets it done, a better throw, he walks in. He had the safety beat by a good 4 or 5 yards.
2nd down and 10. Rifles this one, and he's got his receiver on a dive. That's Robinson. Right in front of Kareem Jackson, who had a pick 6 to start the game. That's a 16-yard throw and a good one by Bortles to the 44 of Houston.
A really nice one. Keep pushing the ball down the field. You've got some matchups you have to take advantage of. You've got these good young receivers. Give them a chance to make a play in space.
Yeldon on 1st and 10. Wrapped up by Clowney, who comes from the side and throws him for a 1-yard loss. Like we said, Pro Football Focus has Clowney's run defense as very good.
He was offended last night. We were talking to him about it. He said, hey, one area he's gotten better is he feels like he's become a complete player at that position, and that means stopping the run first.
He was offended by you, we'll note. Yeah, I didn't want to offend
I just
him.
said, how's that run defense coming? He didn't like the question.
Good brave. 2nd and 11. Blocked by Beecham, going deep here again, and incomplete. He's aiming for Robinson. And the coverage by Jackson. 3rd and 11 coming up for the Jaguars. That's looking back into the sun, too. That's got to be a tough ball to catch. You look back in the sun like that, Rich, and try to locate it.
Yeah, it's tough. And these situations, and certainly the sun could be a factor, and give those quarterbacks a little bit more room on the boundary.
Green 80. Green is set.
It's third down and 11 for Blake Bortles. Here comes Merciless, and here comes Simon. And Clowney, they devour him. Second sack by Houston's D. The sack back to the 46, and a loss of 10 on the play. Here they come, the punting unit once again for the Jaguars.
And there's Simon right up the middle there, and we've seen a little bit more five-man rush. Simon's able to fight through that double team and get to Bortles.
They blitz a lot, don't they, this defense of Houston?
High percentage, over 40%. Only the Rams and Broncos that blitz more this season.
That's something. Norton the punt. Irvin turned one earlier in the game, 58 yards. The rookie, and that is out of bounds. Keeping him away wisely there. Unreturnable and outside the numbers and out of bounds. And they'll start at the 27, 6:05 in the fourth. Happy Texan fans. Coming up, the Subway postgame show. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher. Scores, news, highlights, all from New York, all from our CBS studios. The Subway postgame show. After the punt by Jacksonville.
Diamond alert! Diamond alert! 50! 50!
Lamar Miller's in the backfield at first and 10. Frost will lead the way. Nice block by Brown. Nice block by Hopkins. And he has the first down, racing for 16. Has been a big part of the Texans today. And the gain to the 43-yard line. Ramsey makes the stop.
Boy, I love teams that carry a fullback, and you look at the movement up front. Look at the double team between the center and the guard and how they pass it off. Suafilo's done a nice job. Brown's done a nice job on that left side. And look at the backs and how they've run today. Kevin, 27 carries for the Houston Texans.
And they're injured, Rich.
And over 172 yards on the ground.
Miller's got a shoulder injury, Blue, a ribs injury. And calf now. Here's a first and 10 run. Another block by Price. And he tries to carve his way for a couple. Miller is gaining a yard to the 44-yard line. This is the time of the game, Rich. You want the Jaguars to force a turnover if you're a Jacksonville fan. But today they've become the sixth team since the merger to have gone over 5 consecutive games without forcing a takeaway. A very tough statement to take.
Yeah, just 5 takeaways so far this season, the fewest in the league. 3 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries. And Kevin, it's tough to get them when you're always playing from behind.
Sure.
Teams are running the football in the fourth quarter, not throwing it against this defense.
2 tight ends.
Wide eight! What's it?
It's a second down and 9. Miller in the backfield. There's Hopkins off his hip. Ramsey there. See, Ramsey has held him to just short little gains. That was just for 6. He's near midfield.
One of the chain guys got knocked down.
They're right in the line of fire, aren't they, on that sideline?
You have to have your head on a swivel when you're standing there on the sideline. These guys come at you so quickly. Watch him. DeAndre Hopkins gets pushed into him, and down he goes.
Third down 3. Akeem Hunt is in, and he gets the swing pass, and he's chased by Smith, and he sheds him. He's brought down after a gain of 2 by Jonathan Cyprian and Polesny over there.
That's a good effort by Smith and good tackling. Look at the pursuit to the football. All those black and gold helmets. Smith gets there first. Hunt makes the miss, but watch the pursuit. You got 4 or 5 other helmets right there. That's a good effort by that Jacksonville defense. Paz Leslie's had a really good year, Kevin. You talk to the coaching staff in Jacksonville.
Rich, since he entered the NFL, he's been the leading tackler in the league.
He's amazing. He's in his 10th season. I think he's playing his best football. He's such a smart player. He's so instinctive. He gets everybody lined up out there. He plays with great effort and energy every time out.
Leckler with the punt. It's outside the numbers and well placed. It's going to be inside the 10. Shane Leckler. He is the reigning AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. Timeout 3:44.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Subway. Try the classic Reuben, stacked with corned beef, limited time only. And by Verizon. Welcome to Verizon LTE Advanced, the next-gen network.
Several Jaguar players and cheerleaders visiting Naval Air Station Jacksonville Tuesday to meet the service members and get a tour of the station and thank them for their service. All part of Salute the Service Month, honoring our servicemen and women of the military. First and 10 after the punt, a good one by Leclerc. It goes wobbly again, deep to the far side. The coverage by Jackson. It's intended for Allen Robinson. Second down and 10.
A frustrating day for this offense. They've been a hit or miss. You look at Bortles, he's had some stretches, Kevin, where he's thrown the ball well. He's had some other stretches where it hasn't come out of his hand as clean. You know, talking to Gus Bradley on Friday, he said he didn't look the same throwing the ball. His motion and his arm angle were getting worse, and he had been much more compact last year. It's a big reason why they brought in the throwing coach, Adam Dado, after that Thursday night game where they had a couple extra days the following week to prepare.
Down and 10 here, he throws a nice little short pass on the money. It's caught by Thomas. He's brought down by both Joseph and McKinney. It's a gain of 12 on the play, and he's out to the 20-yard line. Rich, he looks like when he steps into the ball, and you can see it on these short intermediate throws, that's when he's got the most juice and the less wobble on it.
Yeah, a lot of it is, I think, the biggest issue I think he has is with the lower half of his body, not so much his arm.
That was blocked by Simon.
You know, so much of it is when you think about a lot of so much of throwing is with your lower body, your core, your legs, your ability to drive the football, the ability to distribute your weight. You see him throwing off of his, you don't see the weight distribution going from his right side to his left side as much. I don't think he has the muscle memory yet with the throwing mechanics. They're continually tinkering with him. And if you're thinking about your mechanics as you're out there playing, you've got no chance. It's like Tiger Woods on the first tee thinking about his grip.
That's a good analogy. Second and 10. Crossing catch right here by Hearns. And brought down by Simon. And covered as we saw. Picks up 10 on the play. Should have enough for a first down. He does. To the 31. You know, that's a great analogy. You want to be just natural, like by rote, right? It doesn't even cross your mind.
You've seen me play golf. I'm not a great golfer.
No, you're right. You're honest, too.
But when I'm playing well, I'm not thinking about things. But if I'm out there thinking about every little thing, you got no chance to make contact.
First and 10 here. Again for Hearns. Coverage on the play by James. Here's the thing, though, Rich, and asking you this question probably. Bortles has been sacked in NFL high 125 times since entering the NFL. I mean, is there that thing there about the, I'm getting hit. My head is not on a swivel all the time.
Well, part of it, obviously the offensive line play hasn't been good enough. Part of it, Kevin, is him holding the football, taking 2 or 3 hitches a lot, understanding protections. The other problem is there's been so much change around him. He's had 3 different coordinators in 3 seasons. That's dysfunctional for a young player.
Second and 10. No, there is yellow on that play. Now he's going deep. And he's incomplete to Lee. There's a flag thrown on Kareem Jackson with a secondary for Houston. Yeah, different message, different voice, different way of preparing. I can get that with the change in coordinators. A lot of them who's had to go through.
Kevin, every time we've seen a lot of that, in the last 5 or 6 years.
There were 2 fouls during the play, both by the defense. Offside, number 59. That penalty is declined. Pass interference, defense number 25. That penalty will be accepted. Automatic first down at the spot of the foul.
Right now for an update, let's send you to our CBS studios in James.
Turnovers hurting the Saints.
Yeah, down by 3 minutes to go in the game. Michael Thomas will take this and get hit from behind, fumble the ball. Denver recovers. The 4th turnover of the day for the New Orleans Saints. Denver leads 2017 with the ball.
Kevin Harlan.
You got it, James. Thank you, Coach. Here's a first and 10 throw, and on the move, they've got their tight end, Koyak, from Notre Dame, a 7th-round pick off the heap, and he picks up 14 right there. He takes it down to the 15-yard line of the Houston Texans. He's caught a couple today. Demps was on the coverage.
Yeah, good job there by Bortles, just working through his progression. When the second receiver wasn't there, he's able to work all the way back across the field and find his tight end, Koyak.
Koyak had 5 catches against Tennessee a couple games ago on that Thursday night game. He's had a nice day today.
It's all right.
3 catches for 35. First and 10.
Green is right.
And this is down the middle, dropped by Julius Thomas. And on the ricochet, Andre Hal was almost there to get it. Bernardrick McKinney was covering two.
Well, if you're Blake Bortles, it's always important to keep everyone informed in the huddle. If he scored a touchdown here, you've got to go for two, obviously. Trailing by 11 at this point.
2nd and 10. The 41-yard penalty obviously stings. Kareem Jackson was in the coverage a couple plays ago. 2nd and 10. Ivory is in. And Bortles has to search. Hit as he threw. The ball caught for a touchdown! Robinson got it, beating Jackson. What a throw by Bortles. 14-yard touchdown pass. How about that? So Jackson was called for the penalty. He just gave up the touchdown.
Look at him look back inside and buy some time, and at the last second throw this ball in a perfect position. The only place he could possibly put it, to his receiver, Allen Robinson. This is the best throw that Blake Bortles has made today in a critical situation. He sticks it in between the corner and the pylon. What a great throw by Blake Bortles.
What a catch. What a throw. What a play in a drive of 92 yards in 1 minute and 27 seconds of the fourth. 8 plays. Rich, we talked about that. You mentioned it. He said he's better throwing on the run.
He's made some of his best throws, not just today, Kevin, but this season when he's been moving to his right and to his left. And to his left, especially. He's made some really big-time throws, which is really probably the hardest throw for a right-handed passer.
Now they're going for 2. Yeldon is in. And got it. How about that? Robinson again, working on the veteran Jackson. We have a 3-point game with 2:17 to go.
Well, you love Allen Robinson. He's so quick off the ball. He's a possession-type receiver. He's got the size and the speed that you love. He can separate. Great leaping ability. He's got a 39-inch vertical jump, and this back shoulder throw, the toughest throw for a corner like Kareem Jackson to defend. So hard to get your head around and find that ball. It gets out of the hands of Blake Bortles so quickly.
Rich, here's the thing about Allen Robinson, who is kind of anonymous around the NFL. From the start of last season, he now has 19 touchdown receptions. That is tied for the most in the NFL with Odell Beckham Jr. of the Giants.
Here's the question now, Kevin. You've got 2:17 to go. You've got the 2-minute warning. You've got a couple timeouts. You got to make a decision. Do you kick the ball down there and play defense? I think you have to do it. The only concern I have, though, is they haven't been able to stop the run with their defense here in the second half. But I think if you look at the time, you look at the situation in the game, the fact that you're only behind by a field goal, you have to trust your defense to go out there and get a 3 and out.
Myers will line drive it. Irvin, the rookie, bobbles it twice. And then he's brought down by Miles Jack in a 5-yard return. That worked out real well for Jacksonville.
Boy, it couldn't have turned out any better.
Oh, my goodness.
Boy, you look at Tyler Irvin. He has a hard time fielding it. He takes a peek. Not able to get his hands on it. He secures it. The best he can do is advance it to the 8-yard line. Now you got to, if you're Jacksonville, you got to find a way to rise up and get a stop. You got to hold them to a 3 and out. You've got those timeouts, you've got the 2-minute warning, but you have to stop the run.
Seemed like just moments ago, Houston led at 24-13. Now a completely different game. 1st and 10. And this is Miller, brought down by Alu on a gain of 3 and a quick timeout taken. The gain to the 11-yard line. Well, they were in a close game in a very tightly contested game last week in Kansas City, Rich, and they had a chance to go up late. They turned it over 4 times. Here, they've come to within 3 again to the first-place team in their division. Coming up the Subway postgame show, JB, Tony Bart, Coach Cowher, and Boomer Esiason for the latest NFL scores and news. The Subway postgame show next on CBS.
Kevin, even with 4 turnovers last week on the road, they got the ball back with 3 minutes, and they're still in a position to win the game. Now they've got to be able to close. They got to be able to close this thing out on defense and get a stop and get off the field and give your offense one more opportunity.
With a 2nd down and 7, it's Lamar Miller. Corkscrewing, held and brought down on the play. Scuda gets him, the linebacker, limits him to a gain of 2, out to about the 12 and a half. And we've reached the 2-minute warning. So we've reached the 2-minute warning. It's 3rd and 5 for Houston. Pretty important play, Rich, here. They got it to the 13-yard line.
Well, a couple different ways you can go here, Kevin. You can run the football and force, if you don't get it, force the Jacksonville Jaguars use that timeout, or you can rely on the matchup that you like, that you have to trust. DeAndre Hopkins versus the rookie up top, Jalen Ramsey. That's the one. I think you have to throw that slant right. You have to give him a chance to make a play.
3rd and 5, Miller is in. Round the block at the tackle. They got him on the slant, caught by Hopkins in front of the rookie. Big time throw by Osweiler to the 23, a pickup of 10, and a 1st down for Houston.
Really no surprise, right, where they're going to go with the football in a critical situation and 3rd down. This is really where they look. I'm surprised that Jacksonville didn't give the rookie a little bit of help. I would have doubled DeAndre Hopkins in that situation. I'm not going to let this guy catch the ball and win the game.
Hopkins 5 catches, 48 yards. The number's right there for Osweiler.
This one's over now.
1 timeout, Jacksonville.
He run the ball 3 times.
With a 1st and 10. The run by Miller. The tackle is made by Jackson. And no gain on the play.
It was a big-time throw by Brock Osweiler.
That was.
In a critical situation. It's not been a bed of roses today for Osweiler, Kevin. 14 of 27. He's only thrown for 100 yards. But the big thing is he's avoided the negative play. No interceptions.
Rich, you were talking earlier about how Osweiler sought out the help of Peyton Manning. He called Peyton and said, look at my stuff during the off week.
I thought that was really an impressive thing for a quarterback like Brock Osweiler to do, Kevin. He took the time. He really watched Peyton Manning every single day for 4 years. He wasn't a week where he ever felt like Peyton was a different guy. So what did he do? He sent him some tape. He asked him to watch it during the bye week, asked him for feedback. To me, that shows maturity from a young player, a guy that's going to reach out to Peyton Manning, of all people, for that type of advice.
They were teammates for 4 years in Denver. Here's Miller on 2nd down and 10. It's up a yard. Clock is ticking. There's no way Jacksonville can stop it with the timeout. They're empty. Houston has the 3, as you see. And again, the looks on the faces say it all. We've come again just this close again.
Yeah, it's just, it's tough, Kevin. You look at the mistakes that they make, and it's hard to win. The self-inflicted wounds, the penalties, the missed assignments, the turnovers. You can't win in this league until you can keep from losing. You can't do the little things that get you beaten. Jacksonville hasn't quite figured that out yet.
3rd and 9. Miller, cross with the block. Down he goes. Alu makes the stop on a gain of 2. Getting some help there from Ramsey. He works his way to the 26.
That'll do it.
That'll do it is right. Heartbreaker last week in Kansas City for Jacksonville, and another one today against the 1st place Bill O'Brien-led Houston Texans, who have won now for a 3rd time in the last 4 games. They go to 6-3, 1st place in the AFC South. Final score, Houston 24, Jacksonville 21. For Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan, so long. Let's go to our CBS studios for the Subway postgame show in James.